going on, guys? My name is Andrew and welcome back to a brand new exciting video. Have you guys ever heard the phrase, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you have, or gear doesn't matter? I know I certainly have heard this phrase many different times, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys have heard this phrase as well. The funny thing about this phrase is that it is usually, or a lot of times, being said by people who have access to all different kinds of expensive camera gear. And for some reason, whenever I hear someone like that say something like that, it comes across a little bit insincere. You know, it's just like, yeah, of course, that's easy for you to say when you have a $500,000 camera. Now, I'm not trying to say that everyone is like that, and to some extent, most people have to start off with some form of inexpensive camera gear. In the end, though, whether you're Bill Gates or a broke dude in Brooklyn, the statement itself is still true. I myself use inexpensive camera gear as far as cameras go, and that is why I've decided to start a brand new series talking about how to get the most out of your inexpensive cameras. The cool thing about this is, since it's a brand new series, it's up to you guys what kind of videos you want me to make. We can talk about GoPros, we can talk about tripods, we can talk about settings in a camera, what settings you should use when you film. We can talk about any of that stuff. It's completely up to you guys. So if you guys want to see a video in this series from me, comment down below, let me know, and I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I shoot with the Canon T4i, and I primarily saved up for this camera by selling things on eBay and by selling sodas in my neighborhood and at the skate park. I got this camera used and on eBay, and you can actually get this camera on eBay for as low as $300 used for the body only. And you can get this camera's younger brother, the T3i, for as low as $320 on eBay with a lens. So bang, right there, you really have pretty much everything you need to start filming videos. So save your pennies. There are affordable camera options out there, and they're good cameras. So once you have your camera, the question you might be asking now is, how can I get the most out of this piece of hardware? How do I use the camera, manipulate the settings, and edit it in post to use it to its complete potential? That's the question that I hope you guys are asking, and that is the question that I aim to answer in this series. So for the first installment of the series, we are going to be talking about how to get smooth footage with your camera. No one, I'm gonna zoom in to stress how important this is, no one likes to watch shaky footage. No one at all in the world ever likes to watch it. We as mankind have come to the general consensus that shaky footage is not what we want. Shaky footage is sickening, disorienting, and it's hard for your audience to tell what they're actually watching. And all of those things are good reasons and probable reasons that your audience is going to click away from your video. So, Andrew, how do you get smooth footage, especially with an inexpensive DSLR? So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is something I didn't do for a while, but it's if your lens has an option to turn stabilization on, just flip that switch on and your camera will now have a little bit of an onboard stabilization. It's super easy, it's helpful, it works, and it has really no cons, so you may as well do it. Besides that though, the first real technique to get smooth footage is slow motion. Everything, in fact, is smoother in slow motion than it would be otherwise. The slower your footage, the smoother it will be. So dive into your camera settings and check out your frame rate options. Frame rate is the amount of pictures your camera will take per 1 second of video footage. If you shoot in 24 or 30 frames per second, you can play your footage back in real time. If you shoot in 60 frames per second, you can slow your footage down to about 50%, and if you shoot in 120 frames per second, you can slow your footage all the way down to 20%. The higher the frame rate, the slower you can make your footage. On my camera, the Canon T4i, the highest frame rate option I have is 60 frames per second, and that's only if I record in 720p instead of 1080. Now that slight quality drop is a sacrifice I'm willing to make to get slow motion. If I'm just vlogging, I'll record in 1080, 30, or 24, but if I think I'm going to be using the clips I'm about to film for a cinematic sequence of some sort, I'll just bump it down to 60, 720. I know that GoPros, for instance, have this option. You can downgrade the quality of your videos and get a higher frame rate in exchange, and many other cameras have this exact option. So just dig into your settings and find out if slow motion is an option for your respective camera. The next way to get smooth footage with your camera is to use some sort of a makeshift dolly or a real dolly if you happen to have one. A makeshift dolly could be a skateboard, a bike, a car, anything pretty much with wheels can help to get your footage a lot smoother. It's far easier to roll on something and hold your camera still than it is to try to hold your camera still and walk around. The next way to get smooth footage for your videos is to add a third point of contact. And what I mean by that is usually we have 2 points of contact with our camera, and that would be both of our hands. But if you add a third point of contact to the camera, it can really help to smooth out your footage. You can prop the camera up against your knee, your neck, use a camera strap, use anything that'll help you to have more touch real estate with the camera. The next way to get smooth footage is to use a tripod. If you're trying to follow something with your camera, use the pan and tilt options on your tripod. I myself have a super makeshift, sketchy, hot glued tripod that I got the body from a thrift store for $5, and then I took an old quick release mount and I hot glued it on top of the tripod because the tripod didn't come with a quick release mount that fit it. That's probably why it was $5, but it works, and that's really the only thing that matters, whether it's sketchy or not. As long as it works, it gets the job done. It doesn't matter if it looks pretty or if it has all the newest bells and whistles. If you don't have a tripod, then just set your camera up on top of something and get locked down shots that don't have any movement. I mean, in the end, the smoothest shots are the ones that aren't moving, so just do that. Still shots that don't have any movement beat handheld shots any day of the week. The last way to get smooth shots that we're going to be talking about is to use a gimbal. I have a gimbal. It was $50 on eBay, and it works pretty well. There are plenty of more expensive options, but if you're looking for something cheap that will get the job done, a gimbal like this might be the right one for you. I can do tracking shots, I can pan, I can do all sorts of things with it. It's definitely not a perfect gimbal, but it is guaranteed to be a lot smoother than handheld shots. Alright everybody, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And comment down below if you guys want to see more videos like this. And if you do want to see more videos like this, comment down below what you want to learn from these videos. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.